Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. Is it good? Is it bad? Should you go? Should you not? Find out today. Hi, how you doing today, Movie Nation? It's just Jesse. Hope you're having a good day. And today, yes, guys, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. I am located in the northwest suburbs of Chicago. Today, we are going to go at AMC Niles at 7 o'clock in IMAX. That's right, guys, in IMAX. If you don't know who I am, hello, hi. My name is Jess. My YouTube channel, It's Just Jess. Here we do movie reviews, giving you the biggest and best reviews of the movies that are releasing at the time. So please hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss a video. Stick around towards the end because we are going to review it, guys. Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. We're gonna leave AMC Niles 12. Movie Nation, so let's talk about Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. If you see in the behind me, I put it orange because when he does get the rings in the movie, it turns into orange, so I thought that was a cool little dynamic. I'm gonna talk about this movie the less possible can. It's gonna be hard to talk about it without spoilers, so I'm gonna really try to do my best. However, I am gonna keep this spoiler free, but I'm really gonna like glaze over these topics about this movie. So we got Shang-Chi, Legend of the Ten Rings. Is it worth going to IMAX? Other than the film, right now, I'll show you, says it's being filmed for IMAX. I personally believe, yes, this definitely should be worth an IMAX. Why? Not because it's a Marvel movie, also because the powers on the big screen, especially the fights and action sequences, they do not just happen once. They happen throughout multiple battles in the film. The colors, the animals, the sounds, the action, the fantasy, the other worlds, because you don't stay on Earth for the whole duration of the movie. And plus, the dynamic of the cast of the characters and the tension between them really invokes the power of the story to see it in IMAX. Now, it's better like that because then the sound is more better, or even seeing Adobe, but I saw it in IMAX, so I personally believe it's better. It's a bigger screen, better sound, not as much as Adobe because those are deeper blacks, but for IMAX, I personally believe you should go if you can, because you just get more immersed in this world, and especially seeing the action unfold in the screen that it tells you when the story dynamic is when you're watching as the audience. I feel like it's way more immersive than just watching it in a regular cinema. What is Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings? I personally believe this is the way I'm gonna tell you guys, and this is gonna be the spoilers because one thing I do want to say, the trailers don't do it justice. Like, I watched trailers after I watched the movie, and there is a lot of things that the trailers just hint, and the movie just goes progressively, anxiously, and aggressively towards some scenes and sign dynamics of the movie. It is Shang-Chi, the guy who is trained by his father to kill assassins or just to kill in life because something traumatic happened in their family. However, then he goes on his own in like San Francisco, and he is basically lost in the world and has no direction and finding himself, which means tracking down his sister and then reconnecting with their family, and what good and bad that does entail to us that he has to solve as a main protagonist of this movie. So he obviously has parents. The movie opens up with a beautiful dance slash romantic slash like fighting sequence between his father and his mother. That the father obviously has the 10 rings, but he wants more power, so he goes to the woman, and I don't want to tell how they meet, but he does meet her, and they have to fight for some reason, but none of them comes out the victor. Basically, it's like when I was watching the movie, the soundtrack of that scene, especially in IMAX, because it happens in less than like 7 minutes. It's such a beautiful like dance romantic scene. I was like, wow, this is awesome because it's Marvel at its finest. The music is involved, there is fighting, there is like fantasy elements to it, but she has other powers that I'm not going to talk about. He has the 10 rings, which we'll talk about in a second, and the woman has like these worldly powers, of which the less you know about this movie, the better. Now, I want to talk about the 10 rings itself. The 10 rings are like these 10 rings, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The 10 rings, the movie doesn't really explicit what their powers can and cannot do. To me, what I got from the 10 rings was, imagine Iron Man's shooters, right? Or Thor's Mjolnir, you know, the hammer, or Cap's shield, or Spider-Man's webs. Like, imagine those. You know how every superhero movie has those things? This 10 rings is like, I can see like there is some limits to it, but that's just for me guessing. The 10 rings itself, it's like a force to be reckoned with. But what I got from the 10 rings, it's very an awesome weapon because you can definitely kill people or be exploited with it, or even use it as like a brainstorming creative way. Now, yes, there is different characters that use the 10 rings, but the way they use it's so creative, and it's not like almighty. Like, I would love to see this guy battle like Thor or Iron Man. Now, we probably won't get that, but it's nice to see that, hey, you know, this guy has this set of powers with these 10 rings that are not overly powered, but they are strong. Let me just tell you that they are strong. So he is best friends with the character named Aquafina, and which is Kate or Katie. Now, I do believe that they've been friends for 10 years because the chemistry between those characters throughout the whole movie, it's funny, it's awesome, it's humorous, it's dynamic, and it's believable to that they have become 10 friends. Like, the chemistry on the cast set or in the movie is really amusing to us because it shows like, wow, it does feel like they've been like friends for 10 years. So basically after that, Shang-Chi gets a message from his father, and then he has to track down his sister, and then he has to go to his father. Now it's a little gray area because the trailers only show you fight sequences, which I don't really want to talk about like the story too much, but I do have to hint at it a little bit because the less you know about it, the better. Shang-Chi lives in San Francisco, which is best friends with Aquafina for 10 years, and parks cars for a living as a valet driver. But for some reason, the 10 rings have been sent to him to steal this pendant because supposedly it's a map or securely details about more mystical powers. That's all I'm gonna say about that. However, now he has to go find his sister, and then after his sister, they're gonna go after their dad. Fight sequence in the bus, I thought it was really awesome because that's like the first real taste in IMAX of the fight sequence that we see Shang-Chi without even the 10 rings. Like example, yes, we've all seen karate movies, we all seen martial arts movies, but this feels like it does give a tribute to Jackie Chan, Jet Li, or Donnie Yen's like IP Man. Like I do see resemblance of that, but also Marvel has splashed like their own creative imagination towards the fighting sequences itself. Now, when I say Jackie Chan and Jet Li, the second time when they meet their sister, and I'm not gonna say where or when or what they do, but they have to do this bamboo, which you'll see in the trailers. It's like a tall skyscraper building with bamboos. Now, I cannot thought when I was looking at the movie, I was like, wow, I can imagine Rush Hour being into this, or Jet Li or Jackie Chan, because those bamboo really resembles like other martial art movies, which I thought it was perfectly done, that it was great in this movie. Also, the final battle, it doesn't really say in the trailers like what the final battle is, but all I gotta tell you, it's fantasy. There's dragons, there's amazing new magical mystical abilities, and the 10 rings are put to good use here in the creative aspect that we talked about before, because both of the characters, which the father and the son, use the 10 rings to their advantage, but the way they used it, the way they are creative with those 10 rings, I just find it bizarre because we probably haven't seen the most that Marvel or Shang-Chi is going to use the 10 rings in battle in the future. Because if you stay into the end credits, which you should because they're not one but two, they really hint at a bigger universe, which is like amazing world building. So I really can't wait for Marvel or Shang-Chi himself to actually put the 10 rings to good use in the future to its full capabilities. Because remember how in Iron Man 1 or Spider-Man 1 or Cap 1 or Thor 1, they are just beginning to use their powers. Now I cannot wait to see this in the future with other Marvel installments and even like the team up movies, because the movie clearly hints at a world building, which is very amusing and very awesome. Now here is the plot of the story without getting into details. We got the beginning opening beautiful romance fight sequence between the parents, then it's San Francisco, some little bit of storytelling, then it's the bus, then they have to find his sister, then they see their father, then is the big epic battle. That's all I'm gonna glaze up on the story if you want to know like at least some of what the movie is getting into, but the less you know about it, the better. This has all the Marvel elements you want. It's funny, it's witty, there's a lot of action, and not just one. There's a lot of action, there's a lot of character building, character moments. They focus on the relationship as well as the drama and the fancy of the humor of the world that Marvel created through the Legend of the 10 Rings. This movie has so much rich, deep lore, backstory of the family, because it does show past sequences of what happened, like how their family was like. It progresses more from when they first meet, like the father and the mother, like dance battle scene. It does talk about them more, and it also brings a new perspective because they don't just go back to it once, they keep coming back to it, how he was trained to be an assassin. Like so much character and lore building and the backstory scenes, especially with the voiceover. I thought that was beautifully done because the movie just could have told us like this, but the movie to show us like, damn, like how was his father back then, or his mother or his sister. Like it shows us clearly how did that family became up to be happy, what happened that destroyed them, and what are they gonna do to fix it, and all the character details that entails like why this person hates each other, why they're not talking to this person, the weird dynamic with the father, the Legend of the 10 Rings. Like I love that it gave us that deep backstory, and I love how this movie is representing the Asian people. I'm being half Asian myself, I'm Filipino, so a lot of people are gonna be like, oh, you're not Chinese. No, but I'm still Asian, and especially in the world right now, I felt like this movie really triumphs because the cast and crew members were Asian as well, and especially when they do the subtitles in Chinese, because they talk about in Chinese, they're like, and I'm really sorry, I'm not trying to make fun, they're like, and it's just so cool because they talk about it in Chinese, but the subtitles are there for us to read it, which is great because that's like the lore of the movie, you know. It's like Chinese descent, which is amazing Asian representation, I believe. Also too, when they leave Earth, when they go to the third epic battle, that place, I just wish we had more like stuff, like we see new animals, we see new creatures, the vistas are amazing like this, and it's like, wow, we only get that in the third act. So, and I don't want to say how long the third act is, but this movie is pretty long. It's like 2 hours and some minutes, or I could be mistaken, but I just love like her place, and then the otherworldly powers. Remember in the beginning when I talked about the dance romance scene between the father and the mother? She has other abilities, which I am not going to talk because that is definitely a spoiler, but she does. I mean, think about it. If the 10 Rings, the guy, the father, was just gonna fight a woman or another character without any magical abilities, he would clearly win. So I'm thinking too in the beginning, I'm like, how is she gonna like defend herself? But then you see like she has worldly powers, and those get passed down for generations. I just thought all that was amazing. Now the relationship with the father and the mother, with Aquafina, with sister, with all the other characters, it's rich deep lore, which would be very awesome because otherwise the movie would fall flat if we didn't have any connection to these other characters or any other memories, or the movie is giving us why should we care about them, because then at the end of the day, like, why do we care if somebody does die later on, or like the connection he has is with his sister, his mother, and his father? Like, why does that matter to us? And the movie really does a good job of showing us, not just telling telling us, but showing us as well as the scene's dynamics ultimately so close together and what that entails to us in the audience and the context that the movie is in right now. I am so sorry to say, and I know a lot of people are gonna hate on me, I feel like this was way better than Black Widow. I'm really sorry, but it does feel like it's way better than Black Widow. Like, I love Black Widow to death, but this movie triumphs in every single section that we talked about. Honestly, guys, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, I freaking loved it. I thought this was an amazing movie. Definitely go see it in IMAX. And if you have any questions, please let me know. And other than that, guys, that's gonna be everything for me today. I hope you have a great day, and I appreciate you so much for sticking around. And if you haven't already, please like this video and subscribe so you never miss a video, and stick around till the next week because I'll post another time. Take care, guys.